Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's go ahead and get started. Today is April 29, 2021. We have a lot in store for today. This is a big level here for us here at Trendy. This is a big deal, and I kind of want to share that with you today. So really quick on ES futures, that's what we're looking for is the ES futures. For every 10 points, we're looking for $1 in the SPY. And I got a couple notes here. So we're at 420. This is a big deal for me because I forecasted this move over a year and a half ago before anyone thought it was actually possible. And I did it by using our trendy analysis. In front of you, you could see our 2021 projection that I sent out to our members in December. Okay. So yes, we're at 420. We're excited about that. But the next thing to notice is that we have come up and hit our next target again that was given in December. So as long as price was building higher highs off of this inside and up, we expected this move into this level. So is this a turning level? That's what's important, and we'll get to that here in a second. All right. Now, back in the day, we bought the 400s by 420s. We made 800% on those. We had bought those as leaps. We did get rid of those, but man, it's hard as a trader to go back and just go, I remember that investment, that specific investment was just, I think just a couple $1,000s, and the payout was huge. A couple $1,000 for like 18,000, 26,000, somewhere in there, just for like so many contracts. Wasn't much at all. So just using a really good process and understanding and being able to forecast price is really, really important. Let's go ahead and get into the details of today, okay? So regardless if we stay the course, these are the levels that are going to get us into this possible 43.13 and 44.66 before we see a bigger move down. Those levels just for this week, okay? So we coach week by week. This is how it's going to look. The bulls greater than or equal to 41.75 continues the trend up. A trend change, an immediate trend change, would be under 41.55. Again, 41.55, that's what we need for a trend change to the downside. Not a deep downside, just a pullback, okay? And bulls, we need to keep it above 41.75, okay? All right, let's go ahead and dive into a smaller picture. And we're going to take you over to the SPY. And let's go ahead and go over the plan. As you all know, I use what's called a neutral strategy on these ETFs, and this is what it's going to look like, okay? So our first break, and I sent this video out as well, was over 418.22. This is where we look to go long. Notice that price has now pushed us into target 1, which was 419.94. This is really easy to understand, is that now that we have pushed up over this resistance, will this resistance become support? So say this out loud. 419.94 holds. We're looking for a move into 421.91. This is our next target. Okay? 419.94 holds, looking for 421.91. Now, to a veteran trader, you're going to ask, well, what is the time frame on this? For me, starting today, because of earnings, and even though it's Thursday, I'm going to be using a 4-hour candle. Notice that we have a 9 EMA down here. You can use the 8 EMA or whatever it is that's your EMA. But I use the 9. And if price can hold this on a 4-hour candle, then I continue to look for this move towards 421. Because I'm using a 4-hour candle, it's important for me to respect the 4-hour candle. That means even if price pulls back into the EMA, and let's say that it looks something like this, even if it starts to break down below and it's only been 2 hours, I don't care. I'm waiting for the 4-hour to close. Okay, so it could do something like this and then turn right back around, and we have this nice bullish ramp into Amazon earnings this afternoon, right? All right, so that's the story here on SPY. I am in this trade, and I'm looking forward to see if we can get up towards that 422 level. Okay. All right, so next one, as promised, QQQ. All right, we also do this for neutral strategy. It is just breaking above the neutral. I want you to notice we had some traders here in the trendy room take this trade yesterday, I believe. And when we pull back into the 338.73 level, this was the bottom neutral. Notice on the 4 hour how we did not close underneath the neutral. Traders taking this from the bottom or low on the curve, looking for that move up. And here we are this morning at the top. So nice little move from 338.73 into 342. Far as today is concerned, what I'd be looking for is if 342 can hold, and again, using a 4 hour candle, I'm looking for that move into 344.06. Okay, and you could just round down and call it 344. All right, so if I'm looking at options on the Qs, and I move down, let's just say that I'm looking at weeklies, I wouldn't buy the 344 call. Okay, I'd most likely buy somewhere between 342 and a half to 343, looking for 344. Although the 344s are attractive as of yesterday, 42 by 47 cents. All right, let's go ahead and move into, I'm going to start here with Apple. I did buy some calls on close yesterday. Why? Because they were inexpensive. And I don't think anybody was expecting a move. I heard a lot of bearish sentiment out there. Now, instead of giving you the bigger picture, I'm just going to keep this on a 4 hour just in case TOS starts to act up. So, it acts a little finicky sometimes, so I just want to be careful. But on a bigger picture, if you guys look at the daily or the weekly, you have a really nice cup and handle here. All right, and so far it's playing true. So we had this green level down here. This is where you want to get long in Apple. But even if you got long here in Apple, it did go sideways for quite a bit. All right, so shaking a lot of traders out of their trades for impatience or just killing theta or just killing, sorry, premium on your options. All right, and we finally got that move, and notice now we're sideways. Okay, and then after the ER, we got a little spike. All right, but that spike didn't even get us into all-time highs. What I'm looking for is this area today for support, 136.64 by 130 by 133.49. And I'm looking for the move back up into at around 142.92 and then above that into 150. All right. As far as today is concerned, we get a breakout level at 138.77. So if we could break above 138.77, look for it to break out into 140. Okay. Notice yesterday we did hit our 139 and a half level and pull back a tad. I do believe if Amazon does really well and we continue to move up in the FANG, we should see Apple start to move back up towards that initial spike of 140. Okay, so that is Apple. Let's go ahead and move down here into Amazon. All right, so I went over Amazon several times in the last couple weeks. We're merely just, consolidation here. We talked about the risk level here at 333. And so far we have held that. This is the trendy edge. And we look for this to be support when price is above it. And you can see that it's headed towards ATH or all-time high. Now I've gone ahead and put the Fibonacci extensions up here to your right-hand side. This is what I'm looking for. As long as 3333 holds, 3,333, I'm looking for a move potentially after earnings into 36.75 by 38.13. Again, 36.75 by 38.13. Let me go ahead and put a box on that for you. And we're just going to put this right in here. So right in that area right there. Okay? So a lot of traders I'm hearing it's a little bit different now. There's a lot of momentum around Amazon going into earnings because everybody wants to see this breakout, right? So you hear of different people buying calls for after earnings. I have friends who are in calls for even after earnings. They played the run into earnings, so now these are free. All right. Now, understand that Amazon could simply just come right back in and consolidate even longer. So any kind of trade into earnings is obviously a zero, okay? That doesn't mean it's going to go to zero, but you have to assume zero. Just makes it easier. That way when you put on a trade, you can say, hey, this costs 700 bucks for this spread. I'm okay if it goes to zero because my reward could potentially be, 3x, 5x, whatever it is that you pick. All right, so these are just my levels. I expect 3333 to hold, and I'm looking for 3675 by 3813. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So out of Amazon, let's go ahead and look at Etsy really quick. All right, so Etsy, I took several weeks ago. We went positive. Then they had a downgrade. Now, notice that on strong stocks, downgrades typically come in before earnings. And what they're doing is they're dropping price into institutions, bigger pockets. Okay? So when price dropped, it merely just came into the trendy edge, which is that yellow line. It was there before price got there. We looked for it to be supported. It was supported, so I did not jump out of my position. And now we're basically flat again. Okay, so what I need for Etsy today is a nice move into 216.65. Any break of that, I do expect 223 by 230. Again, on the 4-hour, we're above the cloud. We could see a pullback just into or around 210, but I'm looking for the move into 216. Let me go ahead and draw that for you. This is support and looking for a move here and then a breakout from there into there. Okay? That is Etsy. Let's go to Facebook. So I also have a Facebook position. I bought Facebook into earnings. I did a spread. I love to use spreads into earnings. I'm telling you guys, it's the absolute best way to trade it. We're talking small risk for a big return. And I want to say these specifically paid somewhere between 5 and 8x. I can't remember, but this one's going to be pretty juicy when we open up here. And these literally only cost us 50 something cents. That's crazy. All right. But with the right levels and the right methodology, you too can learn how to do this. Okay. There's no sense of buying high premium right at the money and go, man, I really hope Facebook wins, on their earnings. And let's say it drops, then you lose everything. All right. So again, we're using small risk for high return. All right, let's go ahead and move on. For Facebook, what I'm looking for, if for some reason it pulls today and you're not in it, be looking for buyers to step in around 325 to 319 and a half. The better way to approach this is if it were to drop, let it come in and don't get interested until we start to reclaim off of this 324.87 level. Okay? And then again, I would be shooting, if I'm buying down here lower on the curve, I'm shooting for whatever the high is. Right now, the high is around 331.56 by 331.69, and we still have quite some time before the market opens. Okay? All right, so moving on down here, let's get to our next one of SKLZ skills. So this really paid us very nicely. And what I was looking for is consolidation. So I have some runners on now. Okay? And so the runners I'm not concerned about. I have just less than a month on these calls. And what I'm looking for is consolidation in this area. Now notice that on SKLZ, price moved up into or close to the trendy edge. Now we already have these levels for, they're on the charts before prices get there. But what we do know is that when price is under them, we look for resistance, okay? So when I took this trade in this area and it pushed into here, this is why I started trimming because we're getting so close to that trendy edge or to that resistance area, okay? So what are you looking for now? If you notice, it's at the pink and the yellow lines. This is where I expect support to come in. As long as these levels can hold, I'd expect SKLZ to start bidding up again and looking for price to move towards this little cup. Okay, pull back and then finally a break of this. My overall targets are going to look like this: 24.30, 28.96, ultimately $34. All right, so in good fashion, with SPY hitting 420, why not talk about a little bit of TLRY? Okay, now we took TLRY yesterday and we did pretty well. So price pushed up very nicely. It got pretty close to my target here at 2036. I think we got close to 100% on some options. And what I did is I rolled into some out of the money calls. Now, I don't personally like marijuana stocks, especially for like the last year. They're just a buzzkill. They really are. The high is really short. So it's really fun, and then it's not fun very quickly after taking a trade. So you have to take your profits very quickly, in my opinion, during this cycle. So they pull back big time. And now sentiment's not quite there. So if you think about that, people jump in and then they're like, I'm not too sure about this, right? And so they jump right back out. And it's reflected in the price, all right? And just like the last chart that I showed you on SKLZ, notice here what we're looking for is a move over this big blue line. So I would expect a little bit of consolidation here. I think with some sort of catalyst, we're going to see a move here into 2063, and a break of that, everyone, can set you into 2320. So very important. 2320 is my target for right now. Let it drift sideways a little bit, and then we're looking for a move into 23. Okay. All right, let's go move into SQ. All right, so here's Square. You can see we have a nice little cup and handle on this. Again, on a higher time frame. I'm looking at the 4 hour because it's Thursday. And you can see here that, Square is just kind of sitting. It's pulled back a little bit. And it's holding in this 225, 250 area. What I'm looking for is a nice run up, potentially into earnings, which is on 5-6. Okay. And I went ahead and started yesterday to see. I really need Square to move though. All right, I went a little out of my comfort zone and I bought next week's expiration, and I went deep out of the money, or sorry, far out of the money, and basically looking for 285. Now that sounds a little crazy, right? But I'm looking for that spike into at least towards 268, 270, possibly a pullback here, and then I'd be looking at trimming here. All right, so that's all I'm really looking for. If I were to get some sort of catalyst and we actually get up to the ATH, then that's another story. But for right now, as long as price can hold this 255, I do expect us to spike towards 260, 270. All right, I really like this a lot. SQ, again, 255 by 251 looks great. I'm looking for further continuation into 261, 268. All right. All right, and then finally here, I wanted to talk about NVIDIA. All right, so NVIDIA, I don't actually have a blueprint on as of right now, but I will show you. We had these targets, and it did come up and almost tap our target here towards the top at 650, and then pull back. So this is what happens at targets, right? This is why we trim into levels that are given, because if you don't, you could really end up wasting a lot of time, profits, and so forth. So what now? Well, the bigger move, all right, is going to be over this yellow line here, which is around 627.67. So just get prepared right before that, all right? Now, I see that we're at 615, so that's like another 10 bucks up. And if you didn't want to wait that long, what you could do is just look at the 4 hour EMA cloud. Just throw yourself some EMAs on here. And if you don't have the cloud, that's okay. Just imagine there's a cloud in between it. The cloud, just so everybody understands, is just a visual effect that can kind of help understand, where that support and resistance are. But as far as the lines, you just need the lines here. Okay, so the lines themselves, if we could stay above 608, then I would expect to move into 627, and a break of 627 puts you into a little bit of resistance around 640, 650. I wouldn't expect this move this week, but potentially buying 2 to 3 weeks out, looking for 650 again by 675. It's void if it breaks down under 595, which is right here. Okay. All right. So this morning, what I'll be looking for is, you know, on open, my plan, anyways, this morning, I'm going to be looking for SPY, and I'm probably going to add into my position. So this is in a weekly position that made me some money, and then I trimmed, and then it's been under the entire week. And then the market started to move up a little bit last night. And I do believe if everything can start hitting on all cylinders for the next 2 days, we could have a nice parabolic move to the upside. Okay. And so one of those where I told, my family, my members, look, guys, I feel like I've been waiting patiently for a long time now, looking for this bigger move. We've been sideways for a long time, and it's time for the market to get overbought. It really is. Instead of the sideways action, you're cherry picking. It's really difficult to find the winners for the day if you're just day trading in and out. It's not been easy. If you look back and you think about last year, it was easy for a lot of traders because when we had an overbought scenario, um, or even oversold, we had like this dynamic, you know, extreme buying, extreme selling, which gave you a lot of profits. Okay, extreme buying would be looking across the board and all stocks are basically green. Okay, and so we have not had that in quite some time, folks. So January really was that time. So what I'm looking for the next couple days, if we could just come over here to a daily candle on the SPY, just kind of look at this. This is absolutely sideways. Okay, absolutely sideways here for 3 days. And then all of this, it's not much better. Okay, so nice run up here, sideways. And now let's see if we can get, like I said, we're right there right now. Okay, at that 419 level. And I'd like to see us get some extreme buying in here towards 424. Now, in my opinion, this can happen if we see Amazon beat tonight. Then we're going to see Fang, Netflix, Nvidia, all those guys pushing towards highs, all-time highs, and I do believe the ETFs are going to basically trend in unison with each other. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to jump back on right before we open up on the market and have all my stuff set up and ready to trade. Good luck today. We'll see you soon. Don't forget to check us out at trendytrading.co. And if you like this material, give us a like and a retweet. I really hope it helps you out. Have a good day.